So I am in Markham Park, if you see behind me. I'm at a Tesla meetup. It's almost everybody's gone. There were Markham Park, Florida, sorry, in Broward County, Florida, near Fort Lauderdale. There were about 20 or 30 Teslas here. There's still 5 or 10 here. Great conversations, whole bunch of people. I think Raphael, aka TesLatino, is going to come over in a minute and say hello. So just wanted to talk a little bit, see what the chat is. I normally do a video Sunday at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to be driving. I'm starting my road trip to Austin, Texas by way of Savannah, Georgia and Atlanta, Georgia. So just to give people an update what's going on, there will not be a live stream tomorrow at 1 o'clock. This is the Sunday live on Saturday. Hi, Matt. So just want to talk about what I'm excited about. First of all, I am at, let's see how many miles I'm at. I am at 9,832 miles on the Plaid Model X, Plaid Venture. 9,832 miles on the Plaid X. So IB, hi Mark Plot. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a video in the next day or so, a 10,000 mile review of the Plaid Model X. And I'll just give you some highlights right here. One, obviously the acceleration's insane. Thank you, Mark. The acceleration is insane. It's one friend of mine called it an act of violence. I took 3 friends, a father, mother, and son, for a ride, and I did 0 to 75 in about 3 seconds. And I said, do you guys want to do that again? And they're like, no. Although my mom, who is afflicted with Alzheimer's pretty badly, had just taken her a dentist appointment and was driving her back to her memory care facility. And I said, do you want to see how fast this will go? And she said, sure. And my mom liked it. My mom, who's 86 years old, she was smiling when I showed her flat acceleration. So there you go. I just started, Alexandra. Just started this live stream. So, number one thing about the Model X, which I think applies to Plaid and long-range Model X, is it's amazingly comfortable. The seats, they're ventilated seats, they're heated seats, they're incredibly comfortable. Yes, Brian, I have punched it. The ventilated seats are, I've got the ventilation on right now. My butt is cool. So, yeah, mom likes the Plaid experience. It's insanely comfortable, very spacious feeling inside. I don't think you can really tell from the video, but it just feels like there's a lot of room. One thing I don't like is you can see the sun shining on my face. I don't know what just happened there. The sun shining on my face. So I usually drive with a hat on. You can probably see the glare on my chrome dome, right? So I usually drive with a hat on to protect myself from the sun. I think if you're not in such a sunny environment, there's some tint on the glass, but I think it would probably be better. There are people who put some kind of insert, but I don't want to do that. I just wear a hat. It's good enough for me. I like wearing hats anyway. So, yeah, insanely comfortable. I've driven 9,800 miles in a month and a half. It's always comfortable. These are the best seats in the world. It's got an air suspension, so it handles bumpy roads really well. If you watch my video about driving it on crazy dirt roads, which is in the last week or 2 I did that video, then if it's really, really bumpy, like tree roots and stuff bumpy, then I drive really slow. I raise the suspension. You can see this right here. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see this. So I can raise the suspension to very high, and the car rises up very high. And I can put it back to medium, whatever. So that's really nice for bad dirt roads to be able to elevate the suspension. I don't think I can switch the camera and see what you're seeing. So Rob says service is another, what type of stuff's included. I think that's when people pay to get service done in their Tesla. I think it's also supercharger revenue. I want to stick with this. One of the other things I love about it, I really do love the yoke. And what you can see from the yoke is there's this screen in front where you can see on the, sorry, this will have a baby nav that will tell you where your next turn is. This will show like the road, sort of like the FSD beta sort of look at the road. And then over here, it'll have like the speed limit sign up here and what speed you're going. So I love the yoke. The yoke is wider than a regular steering wheel, and it's got a lot of spots to grip it. So if you drive one-handed, it's very easy to control. Now, I will say one thing. Somebody asked me about the service experience. So this scroll wheel, the left scroll wheel, is a little bit off, and I've tried to get it fixed. And the first time I brought it in to get it fixed, they didn't have the part. The second time I came in to get it fixed, they still didn't have the part. The third time, which was the other day I came to get it fixed, I brought it in at 7:15 in the morning, and they didn't get to it that day, and I needed the car. I'm going on a road trip tomorrow. I didn't want to leave the car in service hoping they were going to get it done. So there's a lot of, Model X is tricky. There's a lot of little fit and finish issues with the Model X that I don't see at all with the Model 3, Model Y, even the Model S. So, the Falcon Wing doors don't always, here, I'll show off the Falcon Wing door. You can see the Falcon Wing door opening. And we'll close it. And we'll show you the trunk opening. No? There we go. Trunk opening. And trunk closing. Cute little features. It's fun to show off those things. In practical reality, it's not that big of a deal. The Falcon Wing doors are convenient in some tight circumstances that they open easily. At the Apocalypse cabin, the place where I park is a little tight, and being able to open with Falcon Wing doors is better than swinging a door open wide. So, but love the yoke steering wheel. I think I made a video about this. I would change the buttons. This is the right turn signal. This is the left turn signal. I would move the right turn signal over here by your right hand, move the left turn signal up, move the windshield wiper down to here. This is the scroll wheel that controls the windshield wiper. What was the other thing? Oh, my frunk doesn't fully open when there's a frunk button here. If I tap the frunk button, it opens halfway, but I guess there's like a double latch, and it doesn't get past the second latch. You have to be lifting up the frunk while you do it on your phone app or somebody else presses it in the car in order to get the frunk to open. It's a little bit annoying. Not a big deal. I've been using the frunk more than I probably would recently. So, is there anything else? I think there's one other thing. I can't even think of what it was. So, little things. So let's talk about Tesla stock. People are excited about Tesla stock. Let's talk about, I did a video about the Q2 earnings call. I'm going to do a video in the next few days about what I see coming for the future of Tesla, the company, as in the near-term future, not the stock price, because I don't make short-term stock price predictions. I don't think Tesla's going to offer yoke for Model Y or Model 3. They should. I love the yoke. But here's what we got in terms of numbers. In the first half of the year, let's say the first Q1, they delivered something like 305,000 cars. Q2, they delivered 254,000 cars. So all totaled, it was about 560,000 cars. Zach said, I go with Zach more than Elon. Zach said they're aiming to deliver 50% increase year on year. Well, that would mean 1.4 million vehicles. And they said they've had 30,000 vehicle weeks. So if they can average 30,000 vehicles a week for Q3, and I think they're going to do better than that, that would take them to 390,000 vehicles. And probably they're going to do better than that, so we're looking at 400,000 vehicles for Q3. Take it to Q4, they only need to hit 440,000 to hit the 1.4 million mark. Elon is sandbagging. Mark, I agree with you. I think Elon's sandbagging on a lot right now. Nominal orbit insertion coming. Are you talking about my dating life, or are you talking about something else? So, so that's what we have to look forward to this year. Leave out what we're going to learn at the annual meeting. Leave out what we're going to learn at AI Day 2. Just vehicle production. I think we're going to hit 1.4 million easy. I don't think we're going to hit 1.5 million, but I think it's possible. And if we hit 1.4 million, it's probably we should end the year at a run rate of 40,000 vehicles a week. 40,000. By the way, you guys can hear me okay, right? Nobody's saying anything, so I assume you can hear me okay. Let me just turn down the fan just a bit. Okay. So, sun went behind the cloud. So much better. So if we end the year at a 40,000 vehicle a week run rate, that's 2 million vehicles a year. And it's going to grow. So really strong chance of 2.5 million. Now the other question is, do we see progress towards construction of a second factory in Shanghai? Do we see announcements of additional factories? I think, and I've said this before, that I think they're going to build a factory in Kansas City, outside of Kansas City. A bunch of my friends think I'm batshit nuts. That it's not going to happen. But I think we're going to see 46. I think we're going to see a gigafactory in Kansas if they start announcing new factory locations. I think Kansas, South Korea, and Japan. Daejeon, South Korea, Osaka, Japan, Kansas, outside of Kansas City. I think those are really good places for it. I don't think England. Sorry. I know a lot of people want one in England. I don't think a factory in Canada makes sense. But, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. I think American factories can serve the Canadian market. I don't think there's a big advantage in doing a factory in Canada. What do I? Oh, we're going too fast here. I don't think I can. By the way, I don't think I can slow down the chat. Normally, I slow the chat down, and because I did this on my phone, I don't think I can slow the chat down. So you guys are going nuts, and it'll be fun. So somebody asked me how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I am done with the cabin for a while. I'm researching whether I can improve the battery packs in the cabin and add some more solar to make the cabin more livable. And then the second step would be to create running water would be nice. Even if it's not drinkable, running water would be nice. So those are a couple things that I'm thinking about. I reaffirmed the oral agreement on the space I'm going to be leasing on Merritt Island in Canaveral, and I think that's going to happen August 15th now. My oldest daughter's coming to town, so and we're leaving town on August 13th, so I would rather be with her until then. So August 15th is the right date to start that. What do I think TeslaBot will be able to accomplish during AI Day? I think it will be able to walk somewhat. It will have some limited walking ability. I think it will be able to navigate an obstacle course, not like jump over things, but walk through a space that has obstacles in its way. I think it might be able to pick up some objects. And, you know, you tell it, pick this up and put it down over there. Some very, very limited function. And in a controlled environment where it's easier. I don't think we're going to see a battery factory in Indonesia, but it's certainly possible. I certainly don't think we're going to see a vehicle factory in Indonesia, but any of this is possible. Malaysia, I don't think so. So here's the thing. I'm not saying not in the future, but for now, John Halfneck is warned to pick me up. We'll film a new video. All right. Well, I'm going to be in Austin. I expect to be in Austin something like the 26th or 27th of July. I expect to be there for about 8 or 9 days. You know, from the 26th or 27th of July, leaving the morning of the 5th, right after the Cyber Roundup, the morning after Cyber Roundup, to drive back here so I can see my daughter. So for Brian, anybody else in Austin, if you want to hang out, anybody who's going to be in Austin, I'm planning on exploring Austin for 8-10 days. Somebody asked what's my price target for 1 year. I do not do short-term stock price predictions. I just don't. I don't think it makes sense to do short-term stock price predictions. I think the market is too inconsistent, too confused. There's too much chaos in the market. Brian, I'm going to have the Plaid X, so we'll go for a drive, but I'm driving. Nobody else drives the Plaid X until I get FSD beta, and maybe after that. No one in my family has driven the Plaid X. No one I know has driven. I'm the only one who's driven the Plaid X. Thaddeus, we'll see you. All right. So, you know, DM me on Twitter, or look up my YouTube channel. If you go to the About page, you can get my email address, send me an email. I think DMing me on Twitter is probably safer. Don't put any links in any emails or text messages you sent me, because that's more likely to put you in like spam. You want to fly the drone while I'm driving the X? We can make something happen. Brian, you're going to have to show me some spots in Austin. Do I think there'll be another Tesla-like opportunity in our lifetimes? Well, I think Boring Company and Neuralink will be comparable as investors and comparable in terms of game changing. I think Starlink will be a huge investment opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be quite as explosive growth as Tesla. I don't think there's any other part of SpaceX that will be a great investment opportunity. I kind of wonder, if you could invest in Mars, would you? Would Mars be a good, like Mars is such a long-term payback. Like, you know, it's the Dutch East India Company, right? So in a sense, it could be the most valuable company in the history of humanity, but you won't be able to realize that value for 30 years. So that's the Mars colony investment is like such a long shot and such a long haul. Can Boring Company dig water tunnels? Yes. Boring is already in Austin. Boring is in what's the name of the town? Bastrop. Boring is in Bastrop. I've been to the property twice. I was actually on the property once. So yes, Admiral Piet, it's Saturday. I am going to be driving. So for those who are new to the live stream, I will be driving tomorrow, and I will not be able to do the live stream tomorrow, so I'm doing it today. Is it possible they will just manually map the Chuck's turn? Like, so no, they're not going to. They're going to make it work. Short Mary Barra. Yeah, I mean, I guess the other investment opportunity is shorting. I don't like shorting, but I think Tesla stock price will be more than $10,000 a share. Look, my long-term forecast for Tesla stock, as in 2030 and beyond, is with robotaxi. The robotaxi network is going to be insanely valuable, and the bot is going to be more valuable than that. The robotaxi network alone could push the share price to $100,000 a share, and then you add bot, and bot could make it 5x that. Who knows? Starlink would be bigger than we think. Starlink will be. I've priced out the market for Starlink. I think the maximum you could see from Starlink is like 300 million customers. There's 8 billion people in the world. In some countries, it would be people sharing it. But, you know, somewhere between 100 million and 300 million customers paying, let's say, $1,000 a year as a short version of it. So if you have 300 million people paying $1,000 a year, that's $300 billion a year in revenue. And it's it's almost all profit. Very, very high margin. So if you have $250 billion in profit, give it a 20x multiple, you've got a $5 trillion company, right? And you could give it a 4x multiple. So there's a lot of potential there. Base case for 2023. I don't do short term. I just don't do short term. I can do a base case for what I think the company's going to do. I can't predict what Wall Street's going to do with that information. I do think the idea of Starlink buying a cell company doesn't make sense. I've talked with people about that before. By the way, I'm wearing the Cybertruck t-shirt. Go to elonbits.com to check out the t-shirts. elonbits.com. Please check out the t-shirts. There's a link in the description below. Support the channel on Patreon. Support the channel on Locals. Become a YouTube channel member. Links to all that in the description below. Any thoughts to meet Kevin's new Tesla video? I didn't see it. What was that? I did not see Kevin's video, and my thoughts on price earnings ratio is you look at the growth. The price earnings ratio is based on growth. So when's robotaxi? So I think we're going to see wide release of FSD later this year. I think with Dojo and more data and more time, they're generating a lot more data now. They got 100,000 people driving FSD beta. With Dojo processing full video, with getting the latency down, with getting the frame rate up, you end up being able to spot a problem quicker. I was having a conversation about this last night. I think it was last night. But here's what people don't get. Let's say currently FSD beta, the cameras are processing, the FSD is processing video at 24 frames per second, and you up that to 36 frames a second. And you've got some car coming from the left, and it's 200 feet away, 250 feet away, and it's only like a couple pixels. But the AI, the machine learning, is able to determine what it's picking up, and in 5 frames, it recognizes this is something to worry about. Well, if you're at 24 frames per second, it takes 1/5 of a second to recognize that. If you're at 36 frames a second, it's only 1/7 of a second to recognize that. Then if you get latency down and you get jitter down, you're starting to make your decisions in enough time to be able to make the right decision quicker. So that's something that they're working on. That's with existing hardware. They're going to get to over 30 frame rate, 30 frames per second, and maybe to 36 frames per second. They're going to get the latency down. They're going to get the jitter down. And all these things are, more software than hardware. Oh, looks like TesLatino is going to join us in the live stream. say hi to Rafael, aka TesLatino.
Hey,
TesLatino on. He has a YouTube channel, TesLatino, right?
yes, sir.
And he's on Twitter at TesLatino. So we were just at. We just had a. Rafael is the president. Is there a title? President of the Tesla Club South Florida.
I am the president and founder of the Tesla Owners of South Florida Club.
And not as well known, Rafael is an extremely well trained and experienced race car driver. So if I did a poll a while back, and it ended up being a popularity contest. There's no question that Rafael is one of the fastest Tesla drivers around.
You're too kind. I love hanging out with the community.
When he wants to be the fastest driver.
Yeah, I like to drive efficient too sometimes, but if you get me on the track, I'll put that knife in my mouth and let's go for it.
I think when you were doing donuts at Boca Chica, that wasn't efficient.
That was not efficient, and that actually caused me to have to replace my tires when I got back home.
We were driving. We were at Boca Chica. We were driving in Boca Chica, Texas, down by Starbase, and on the beach. And Rafael was doing donuts, and it damaged the tires.
Well, they suffered a little bit, so I ran out of thread before I wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I should have done another 5,000 or 10,000 miles.
Yeah.
But because the problem was that the sand at Boca Chica, where Starbase is pretty rough. So I used a lot of thread from the tires that time. But it was great. It was great fun. We had an amazing time over there. And gosh, I'm so glad that you came to the event here with the club.
Well, I was worried. So people who follow the channel know I'm moving up to the Canaveral area. So South Florida is going to be farther away. I do expect to be down in South Florida probably once a week to visit my daughter in Boca Raton. So I will hopefully still make it to an occasional South Florida event, and hopefully there will be Tesla Club South Florida events to come watch launches. And I'm hoping my space will be a great space for people coming and hanging out, and I'll have launch viewing parties from my space on Merritt Island in Canaveral. I have a balcony. It has the property I expect to be in has a balcony that has a launch view. And it's not super far from the launches. It's a pretty good spot to watch launches from. So,
I love watching rocket launches.
Rocket launches are fun.
They're so great, and the advances that basically SpaceX, because no one's even close to SpaceX when it comes to the advancements for being able to relaunch and land the rockets, especially with the stuff that Elon is doing. Whoa.
Okay.
The phone.
That was wrong.
The phone just fell. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're back.
It was the flat acceleration.
Oh, nice. You turned on the cooling seats.
Oh, wait.
No, it's great. I love it. Don't turn it off. My back and my.
You're getting cooling from the seat now.
Yes, this is great. It's pretty hot today.
Yeah.
Here in South Florida. But anyway, so what were you talking about before I interrupted and joined your live stream?
I don't know. I think we were talking about bot.
Bot?
I don't even remember. Basically, I get a lot of questions in the chat, and you can look at the questions and say, Ken says, I love launching my rocket. What does it mean that FSD goes live by the end of the year? Will it still be a beta then? I think it will still technically be in beta, but anybody who ordered FSD will be able to get it without having to pass a safety score.
Exactly. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. What is not going to happen, because there's a lot of confusion out there. Some people think that just means that the Tesla cars are going to be fully autonomous with no one on the driver's seat. That is not going to happen yet. I have been driving FSD since October 2020, and it has a ways to go. But something that people need to understand is that one day it could happen that with a single update, everything changes and shifts.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that all the scenarios, the car can actually handle all the scenarios. It's the consistency, it's the small things that change that make it difficult to do all the scenarios all the time. I've seen my car failing at things and do them right over and over, like back and forth, back and forth.
All right.
So one day that's going to change and it's going to be fully autonomous.
So Rafael is a OG beta tester and a very, very experienced driver. So I'm gonna grill Raphael now with my theory about why it's fully self-driving. You can sit in the back seat is coming sooner than most people think. So what we learned at Q2 earnings call, I think it was at the earnings call, Elon said that they were hoping to get to a frame rate of 36 frames per second. He has talked in the past about reducing latency and jitter, that if they go to raw photon counts, I think they've already started going to raw photon counts with the cameras skipping the digital video image processing, that reduces the latency. That when you combine reducing latency and higher frame rate, what I was explaining before you got in the car, was there's a vehicle that's out, like coming from the left, and it's 250 feet away, 88 feet per second, maybe it's 260 feet away, whatever. It's going to be here in 3 seconds. Okay. But right now, with the images the camera can handle, maybe it only sees it as, a few pixels, right? And as it takes like 5 frames of video for the vehicle to recognize, okay, that's something I need to worry about, right? That's going to be here. It's before it starts really processing and saying, this is something I need to worry about. So if you're a frame rate of 24 frames per second, that's more than 1/5 of a second. If you're at 36 frame rate, then 5 frames is less than 1/7 of a second. So you're getting a jump there. Now, if you reduce latency from 100 milliseconds to 25 milliseconds, you're just getting more and more time for the car to make decisions better with more information earlier. Then on top of that, we're going to have a ridiculous amount more data going in, and you're going to have Dojo processing a ridiculous amount more data at the video level. So the theory, I'm not saying this is correct, I'm just saying this is how I think it could happen. The theory is that when you take all of these jumps, higher frame rate, lower latency, lower jitter, massive increase in the volume of data, Dojo processing all of this data at the video level. I think all of this could, not immediately, but in several iterations, could get us to the point where the car is good enough that maybe not level 5, but level 4, I hate using the level system, that it will be good enough that there are a number of situations where you can sit in the back seat. Justin's leaving, I think.
No, he wants to.
Oh, is he joining us?
He's doing the cucaracha horn. Just honk the horn.
Here's Justin. I don't know if you can hear the horn. I think we got a swarm of people coming to join the live stream. Now, I think Justin's leaving us.
No, he said he wanted to your streamers to hear the cucarachas. Okay, so yeah, I mean, first of all, was there a question?
So my thesis is that with improvements in latency, improvements in frame rate, improvements in large volume of data, improvements of the training computer, I think that may be enough to get us to the cars being full self-driving. You don't need to be in the driver's seat in 6 months.
So my understanding is that in terms of latency, they already solved that. There's I'm not sure if he's still there, but there was an AP engineer that was also a tester,
an autopilot engineer,
right? So they call them operators internally, and I was, I've been talking to one of the operators for a long time, over 1.5 years, and the latency issue, as far as I know, has been solved. What hasn't been solved is the consistency on all of the different use cases that the autopilot can manage, right? And there's a bunch of other tiny little things. Like right now, you know how you can drive through the same area, but you can drive it, in 5-minute intervals, and every time it could react different. And to you, it seems like everything's the same. Why is it doing things different? It's because there are things that are still very fluent, right? Like in terms of how the system sees them, there's a tiny difference. It could be light.
Different photons coming into the cameras.
Yes, right. So
it's always different photons coming into the cameras.
Right. So those light differences have to be generalized in a way that the system understands it, just like a person would, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think so. And I know this sounds terrible, but there's a good chance that this could be 5 years away, or it could be 6 months away.
Yeah.
One day, my feeling is that this system, which I have been testing for since 2020, One day, I think a change or an update would make it so that it's close to fully autonomous.
Okay, so wait, let me try this. How does today's FSD beta, you're driving 10.12.2?
I think so.
How does today's FSD beta compare to January 2021?
It's a lot better in many cases. There's some things that are worse, but I have to say that my personal experience with the current iteration that's in my car is that it's a little bit worse than the previous one.
Okay.
Okay. So now I heard.
I was asking this question for a reason. I'm going to get to it in my explanation in a minute.
My understanding is that before the 13.13 that's about to drop, there's something that's being tested internally that's supposed to make it exponentially better.
Yeah.
If it's true or not, I'm not saying that it's going to be exponentially better. I'm just saying what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it is. So I'm just looking forward to it because right now I'm like, now here's the other thing. I don't know if it's okay to say this, but my opinion, my personal opinion, even if FSD is not fully accomplished, I still think that the price of the vehicles in the current state that FSD is, it's valued because I use it every single day. I go to the post office, like to the mailbox, and I use it every time I get a chance.
Right.
I have injuries that make it difficult to do long distance driving, and FSD makes it so much better, even if I'm not on the highway.
Yep.
So I still think that the FSD value is great, even if full autonomy is not accomplished. Now, when that happens, Tesla's destroying everybody right now already.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's going to be even worse. It's like, bye-bye.
Well, if that happens and you end up with a robo-taxi network, the value of a robo-taxi network is huge. But here's why I asked Rafael this question. So I frequently have conversations with Lisa, known as Tesla Lisa, who's an OG beta tester. Chuck Cook, I just talked to Chuck Cook yesterday. Chuck Cook is now super famous for Chuck Cook's left turn that is mentioned in the release notes of 10.13, and Elon specifically mentioned Chuck Cook style left turns. So what I find is FSD beta testers, and I'm guilty of this as well, we overweight our own individual experience with FSD beta. What we feel how it drives for us has a certain, we overweight that. The reality is there's 100,000 people driving FSD beta, and the people who are in Tesla's autopilot team, they're looking at data over 100,000 cars, not one. And so we have an individual experience. We say, oh, that doesn't feel right. It's not doing this as well as it did before. But our sample size is, from a statistical standpoint, our individual sample size is too small. And I would just want to say, by the way, I'm driving this X-Plaid. I don't have beta. Yet this morning I drove my old Model 3 with beta. Beta is so much better. If you are driving a Tesla with regular FSD, beta is so much better than regular FSD. And regular FSD is better than anything else on the road, and then any other advanced driver assistance system on the road. FSD beta is light years better than this.
I guarantee that what he's saying is 100% true.
It's so shocking to me how good it is, because I don't drive it much anymore because I drive this car. It's so funny. I'm driving this $150,000 supercar, and it's like I like take every opportunity to drive the 3. Because the 3 has beta and I miss beta. Beta is so good. Now, it does make mistakes, and the consistency is a great point. And so you mentioned latency. I don't think latency is ever solved. Latency, if you can go from 8 milliseconds to 7 milliseconds, it's better.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So they may have reduced latency, but if they can make it better and better and better, and every little bit just gives the car that much more time. There's these moments when the car has to make a decision and something is happening, and it has a certain length of time to make that decision. And every millisecond you can buy it makes it make better decisions quicker. So that's why I think those kind of improvements matter a lot. So let's see. Oh, Albert shut the front door. Was at this event. Is it Albert? Are you gone? I think Albert's gone.
No, he left. Almost everybody left, but Albert was here definitely. I did see someone.
Check out Shut the Front Door on Twitter.
Yeah, I did see someone ask me something here, and it was a while back. I don't know if I'm gonna find it, but
what is Rafael's safety score? He doesn't have one.
That was the question. So wait, hold on. What's his name or her name?
It's DS Greg.
DS Greg, I hope you're still there so that I'm answering the question that you asked. What is my safety score? So, dirty little secret, right? As one of the first 10 people in the world that was not a Tesla employee that got the FSD beta when I got it, I don't have a safety score. I can drive my car like a complete ass, and it doesn't ding me. It's not. It's a non-issue. I've been in contact with the Tesla Autopilot engineering team since 2020, and they respond every now and then to me with feedback. And I'm lucky enough to not have a safety score right now, as well as probably 10 or 12 other people, I think, that are in the same boat as I am. Because when we got it, that didn't exist. And I think they just left us in a group that is a little bit isolated. And from my experience, is that when we report things, which I frequently do, it's a little bit closer look because they have remembered. For a lot of people, they think that now it's 100,000 people having the system, but it's been a lot of people for a long time now. They're limited in terms of how many people can look at the stuff, right? So there's a group of people that have been in contact with them personally, and we help them a lot. So hopefully that's a good contribution. But don't fear, like if you have FSD beta and you are doing it right? When you are reporting incidents that need to be reported, if you're not doing a lot of false positives, they're going to take that feedback. They're going to process it. When they say that they added X amount of videos to the labeling system, that's what that means. That they take your feedback into account, and we need to do our part to help the system get better. So anyway, that's the answer to my scoring safety score thing. I don't have it.
No, and by the way, I have a 98 safety score. I had a 97 a long time. It went up to 98.
You should be getting FSD soon then, because I think they have been pushing it to people that have 90.
I should be getting beta soon, right?
Yeah.
I really want beta. It's so much better than this crappy regular FSD, which is better than anything else on the road.
Yeah, can I say something here? It's a little bit out of topic, but I just wanted to take advantage of this and your audience.
Yeah.
I am going to be doing a couple of things very soon with the Tesla community. So for those of you that are here that know me, you know what I mean. But for those that don't, I'm always trying to help the Tesla community. And I'm trying to spread the word, spread the message about what it means to live this lifestyle, as well as embracing the Tesla as a company, right? And I'm going to be visiting Mexico in a week from now.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to be speaking with a couple of Tesla executives in Mexico's national yearly meetup. And then I'm going to the Tesla takeover in California a week after that. And I want to invite everyone that's here in my friend Warren's awesome YouTube channel, this live stream. If you are at one of those events, come and say hi, because I want to meet all of you and I want to answer any questions that you may have. My purpose in life, because I survived an almost deadly motorcycle accident, is to have fun as much as I can every day I can. So that means embracing the Tesla community the way that they embrace me. So I hope if you're at a Mexico event or California or here in Florida or anywhere in between where I'll be attending, that you come and say hi. Warren may be at the same time in one of those events. Who knows? Because I'm also going through Austin. I don't know.
I'm not going to Tesla Takeover. I am going to be in Austin.
But I'm going to be driving by Austin, so maybe I'll see you.
All right. But Rafael I mentioned earlier that he's a great driver with a great experience. What he's really known for in the Tesla community is he's a great community builder. So Tesla, has become the Tesla fan base has become a community, and it's a large part because of people like Rafael and other people who started Tesla clubs. But Rafael's sort of one of the leaders, as I can see it, in really building a club that does. There are clubs that don't do much, but Tesla Club of South Florida does more. And Rafael reaches out across, clubs and reaches out to other people, and he's got more pull with insiders. I actually have some contacts inside Tesla as well, but I think Rafael has more. Where we were driving to Starbase and one of the chargers was out, and you texted somebody, and they didn't get there in time for us, but they were working on it.
They were working on it. I've done that a couple of times. I know a few
people.
He's got
pull, so yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be great. So I hope that everyone that I know that your audience is a lot of into the investment side of things, talking
It's
about
variable.
Tesla stock.
Yeah.
But also, think about this. For me, at least, Tesla as a community is not just about the stock, it's also about the good that we can do for the planet, for mobility, for sustainability.
Safety.
Safety is one big thing. I know people that have died from accident caused by negligence of the people.
Yeah.
So I'm a true believer that Tesla's approach is the right one. And then there's the whole environmental aspect of it. Honestly, it's a benefit, it's a plus benefit for me. But to me, it was about the sickness of the technology. It's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't, like, I could talk for hours about that. So anyway, I hope those of you that are here that don't have a Tesla yet, that get yours as soon as possible, because you're never going to want to go back. And
yeah, and check
Yeah.
Rafael's channel on YouTube, TesLatino. He does FSD beta videos in English and Spanish, right?
Yeah, I do, but to be fair, it's been almost 2 months since I have published my last video. I think the last video that I published was when you got this car.
Okay.
It's because of life and work and all that stuff.
He has a real job or something.
Yeah, but I'm going to start ramping up things.
Good.
And like I said, I'm going to be on an awesome journey in the next 3 weeks. And those of you that want to hang out with us, either online or in person, you're welcome. So I love you all. I hope you have a great, what's the day? Saturday or Sunday?
Today is Saturday.
Saturday. I hope you all have a great Saturday. I love you all. I hope that you have a fantastic day with your family and friends. If you don't own a Tesla, get one as soon as possible. Go Tesla and go Elon.
All right. Thank you, Rafael.
All right, man.
TesLatino on YouTube. Check him out.
Bye, guys.
Or on Twitter. All right. So let's see. Well, that was different. I thought Justin was going to join us in the back seat, but it didn't happen. So really glad we were able to do that. Rafael is wonderful. He has a permanent invite to wherever I'm doing, anywhere. He drove me back from Cyber Rodeo. Somebody mentioned, somebody asked about whether Rafael met Sandy Monroe. Rafael was with me at Cyber Rodeo, and we were all at this place called Clive. And Sandy Monroe was there, and I'm fairly confident that Rafael met Sandy Monroe at that event. I met Sandy Monroe at that event. I met Sandy Monroe again when we went into Cyber Rodeo. I was with Jordan Gieske from Limiting Factor as we walked, and my brother. As we walked in, we ended up walking in with Sandy Monroe and Corey. And I believe we saw him again at another event. So Cyber Rodeo was a great, not just for the Cyber Rodeo itself, but for everything else. Rob asks, Warren, are you getting the feeling Tesla Energy is poised for takeoff? Yes, I think they're still, as they said in the Q2 call, they're component constrained, but the Megapack factory is ramping. So I think we're going to see energy storage in particular ramping. I don't know if solar and Powerwall will ramp as quickly as Megapack, but I expect to see the energy storage numbers going up in Q3 and Q4. But again, they've said they're component constrained, so that's a limit. I didn't see the Stephen Mark Ryan. Unfortunately, I don't watch. I love Stephen Mark Ryan, but I don't watch him that much. And I was mentioning, by the way, we're talking about safety. You know, I have a Model 3, and I had a Volkswagen Passat, and my daughter was driving the Volkswagen Passat. When I was buying this car, I could have traded in the Model 3 or sold the Model 3 and gotten more money. But I wanted my daughter in the Model 3 because it's a safer car, and I want my daughter to be safe. Do I think Tesla shares will have a run up post split? I don't have an opinion. I don't think splits matter. I think splits matter in a very, very small way. I'm much more interested in the long-term performance of the company. Somebody asked about what new models do I think are coming. I think there's a chance that we will see an early version of Robotaxi at AI Day 2. I don't think it's likely, but I think there's a chance. Ralph says I got a ticket for sleeping in the Model X Plaid. I did not get it. I got a ticket for going 83 and a 70 in a Model X, but I do believe I now have that ticket fixed to a non-moving violation. I'm not sure what my fine's going to be yet. When do I think Tesla will? So do I think once FSD is solved, Wall Street will shock, or it will take Wall Street a while to realize what that is when they solve it? Absolutely. Mochi donuts. So FSD needs a hyperchange monorail stack. What model does Gordon Johnson drive? That's a great question. I don't think Gordon Johnson's allowed to drive. Kia says I can hold my shares for a year or so, but eventually I need to take a profit. No, you don't. I don't know you. So that's the thing. I don't know your personal financial situation. That's why, whenever you hear YouTubers say this is not financial advice, I don't know your personal situation. I can't give you that financial advice. Pascal says, where can I go in the USA to meet you in person? So Pascal, I will be in Austin for about 10 days coming up in advance of Cyber Roundup, the shareholder meeting. And in the middle of August, I'm setting up a YouTube space, an office that I'm going to make a YouTube studio space in Canaveral. And you can email me. You go to the About page of my channel. You click on whatever, and it'll give you my email address, or you can DM me on Twitter. Don't include any links. Be careful what you say, because a lot of things get dumped into spam and I don't see them. But if you DM me and you tell me when you're going to be in the Canaveral area, we can talk about meeting up. I meet up with a lot of people who reach out to me. What's Raphael's last name so we can look up? I don't think his racing exploits are that well known. It's Santoni, Santoni, I believe. Let's see. Are you getting the feeling test? Let's see. So I think I've already answered all this. Apteris started a petition. I saw Apteris petition. Where's the girlfriend? My girlfriend. I broke up with my girlfriend months ago. Do I think Tesla will give Aptera access to the Tesla's going to give everybody access to the supercharger network. So, any concerns with Elon now downplaying FSD beta version 11 with single stack? No, that's not a concern at all. I think the big concern, look, AI Day 2 is coming. When AI Day 2 comes, we're going to learn a lot more. We're going to learn a lot more about, hopefully we're going to learn about Dojo. We're going to learn, maybe we're going to learn about version 4. There's all kinds of things we're going to learn about. We're going to see where all that is. So we got a long way to go. But I think we're going to learn a lot. On AI Day 2, we're going to see a lot. We're going to see a lot about FSD. We might see the version 4 hardware. Maybe they're going to start deploying version 4 hardware on cars. Maybe they're waiting for Cybertruck for that. I don't know. We're probably going to see a lot more about what they're doing with. I think we should have an update on Project Dojo, right? That seems like a very likely thing. We'll see something going on with Bot. I have a feeling that Bot will underwhelm people. People will think it's not a big deal. It won't be as amazing as Boston Dynamics robots doing these big jumping, parkour type things. But that's not the point. The point is, will it be able to navigate a space with limited instruction? So is the Model Y better than the Model 3? This is something I've been thinking about, Philip. I love this question. Is the Model Y better than the Model 3? So I've been thinking about doing a poll on this. Which is the best Tesla for the money? Not the best Tesla overall, because everybody's going to have an opinion. It's always going to be the S or the X if it's the best Tesla overall. But the best Tesla for the money, I think the Model 3 is the best Tesla for the money. If you need space, if you need the extra space that a Model Y offers, then a Model Y is better. But if you're road tripping, the Model 3 is the most efficient. The Model 3 has, honestly, the Model 3 long range is not that far off the Model S in terms of range. 358 miles versus 400 miles. It's pretty close. It's fast. It's nimble. It's a great car to drive. The Model Y, I don't think is as fun to drive. I don't think the 4680 Model Y, I don't know, because that's going to be lighter weight. Kevin's video using $25 EPS for 2025. I got to look. I actually, I haven't run numbers on what I think earnings per share is going to be in 2023 yet. $25 in 2025, that's way too low. Earnings per share is going to be much higher than that in 2025. That's ridiculous. So, all right. So we've been going for 49 minutes. Am I streaming tomorrow? No, I don't. There's a small chance I will stream tomorrow. Probably not. I'm going to be driving. Like 8 hours, maybe 10 hours tomorrow. So that's why I decided to stream now. Earnings per share $69.42. No, 2025. I think earnings can be over $100 a share. It's crazy where we're heading. So yeah, but it's kind of an interesting question. What's the best vehicle for the money? Oh, by the way, this is not merch. This is something I got this is my swag from the Tesla Cyber Rodeo. Check out the t-shirts, Cybertruck t-shirt, elonbits.com, all the other t-shirts. The stainless steel water bottles are awesome. Trying to think, I think I'm kind of out of material. SpaceX, I wanted to talk about SpaceX really quick. The reason I'm moving to Canaveral is I want to be near SpaceX. They are stacking the launch tower at Canaveral already. They are soon going to be building a massive manufacturing facility at Canaveral that's going to be like mind-bogglingly big. I think Canaveral's economy is going to skyrocket. So I'm hoping to buy something in the Canaveral area probably next year. I don't think it's all going to happen that quick. So fall of next year, I will hopefully buy a home, and maybe I'll buy some other land or other stuff. Hi, Andre. So, you know, I think this, if you check out like NASA, my favorite channel on SpaceX is NASA Spaceflight. If you check out their channel, there's been a lot of updates to what's going on with Super Heavy. Do I think Hillary Obama will run from pressure? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what Hillary and Obama have to do with any of this. So where did that question come from? What the heck was that? Let's see. I don't have, somebody brought up Boring Company before. Any comments about Herbert Diess leaving VW? I think we should call him the Diesel. I think that that's a sign that Volkswagen is in trouble. I'm not sure what's going on with Volkswagen. It's possible that it's a good thing for Volkswagen. It's really hard to tell. So, I don't know. Space Force, Vandenberg area, California better get government contracts. So, will Hillary or Michelle run due to pressure from the Democratic Party? No, I don't think Hillary Clinton will run, and I don't think Michelle Obama will run. But I'm terrible at political predictions. Do I think Diess will join Tesla? No. I think Herbert Diess will retire and enjoy a comfortable life. Do I think Model 2 will come out? I think there's a chance that there will be a smaller version of Model 3, maybe in China. But honestly, they're selling every car they make. There's not a whole lot of reason to make a new model when the demand is off the charts for the models you have. Will we bail out GM again? I think it's likely that the U.S. government will bail out GM, Ford, and Stellantis. What if Volkswagen didn't want to electrify fast enough? I do think there's a really strong chance that there's infighting within Volkswagen. Just the nature of a lot of these large companies. There's all these stakeholders, they're called. There's the labor unions. There's government politicians with interest. There's suppliers, vendors, whatever, dealerships. There's all these different pressures. And with Tesla, you have, one guy leading the company who can make calls. You say, this is what we're doing, and whatever anybody complains about, he's like, no, I looked at it, this is the call we're making, and people will back him. So, yeah, it is a Porsche guy who's taking over, right? I mean, Porsche's been pretty good on EVs, so that's a positive thing. Oh, these questions, Guybrush, why do you ask questions like this? When will Tesla hit $50,000 a share? I don't know, 2028, 2030? I don't know. We need a Shotwell clone to serve as Tesla COO, so Elon is focused on engineering. I think Drew Baglino is functionally really the COO. My gut, that's really Drew's job is, there's things he doesn't handle. I don't think they're organized in the same way. So it's not like that particular job, but what time frame do I think Tesla will unveil the robo-taxi? I think there's a chance that they will unveil an early version of the robo-taxi at AI Day 2. They've talked about building factories, I think, in 2023 for 2024. So at some point, they've got to reveal where they're going to build the factories and what's going on with that. So maybe Kansas will be a location, but I don't think that the robo-taxi will use 4680 cells. Thank you, Alexandra. Alexandra likes my nickname, the Diesel. So the Diesel. Do I think the Fed will cut the rate in 2023? I don't make macro predictions. God, no. I think the Federal Reserve should get out of the business of controlling the money supply. That's all I'll say there. But that's not a prediction. That's an opinion. So anything else? So Boring Company, I was just going to mention, I think that I haven't heard of any specific developments, but it looks like Boring Company's making more progress. No specific news about Neuralink either. I feel like we're waiting for some news to break on those two companies. I mean, there is good news about Starlink. Starlink has had more successful launches. The Starlink network is getting better. My Starlink, I used it. It was pretty good. When I was taking it down to bring it home, I didn't stow it properly. I'm a little worried it's not going to work again when I ever start it up again. What do I think total capacity at Tesla factory in 2023? So they listed 1.9 million for total capacity with greater than signs. I believe their capacity is in the ballpark of 2.5 million already, because that's not immediate today capacity, but where they stand right now. Shanghai really has a capacity of 1.14 million, not 750,000. So they're 300,000 plus over what they're saying there. Berlin and Texas will be more than 250,000 each. Texas is going to be easily 500,000, maybe a million a year. And there's no reason why Texas won't produce more than Shanghai. Except, I mean, some of the space is used for different things, but I think there's a really good chance for Giga Texas to produce 1 million vehicles a year. So when you put all that together, really capacity by the end of 2023, I still think there's a chance they produce 23 million vehicles in 2023. When do I think more Gigas will be announced? There's a chance we see something at the shareholder meeting. It's also possible that it's going to leak out, that they're going to be at some point there's going to be announcements, right? If they're going to scale massively, then they got to produce more vehicles, and they got to produce more vehicles somewhere. And we know that Shanghai is going to have a second factory, and that's going to ramp, and that's going to be another 1 million vehicles a year. But I think we're looking at, we probably need another Cybertruck factory. I think Kansas, but who knows wherever. Elon did say that Roadster will be in 2023. I think Roadster is completely unimportant for the future of the company. It's just that there's lots of rich people who want them, and they happen to work for Tesla, so it's going to happen. When will the battery factory next to Giga Berlin be open? I think it's a few months away. I do think there's a chance that we'll see more factories announced at the shareholder meeting, but probably not. Explain the importance of the on-site cathode buildings in Austin and Berlin. Sure. So currently they're using cathode materials, and I'm not sure where the cathode materials are coming from. Cathode is I believe, is the electrode for the positive side of the battery, I believe. So the cathode facilities that they're building at Austin and Berlin are I believe, for the dry battery electrode version of the cathode, which will require a lot less resources and will probably be a higher energy density cathode. So, that's what they're working on. Drew Baglino mentioned that they had a major advance in cathode and in dry battery electrode last month. I don't have short-term price targets. I don't even use the term price target. I talk about where I think the company's going and what that means the company should be worth, not what Wall Street is going to value it at. I can't predict how Wall Street's going to value it. I can't predict how these institutional investors are going to value it. Honestly, the short-term stock price is driven by short-term traders who are not looking at the fundamentals of the company. They're looking at, all kinds of weird stuff. I think it's all a bunch of nonsense, but all these people are doing these short-term trading stuff, and that drives the short-term price of the company. And it's really only when you start to see huge movements in where the company's going. So if I'm correct, and they're going to produce 400,000, they're going to deliver 400,000 vehicles in Q3, and they're going to deliver close to 500,000 in Q4. That's the kind of thing that moves the stock, that gets long-term investors off the back bench and making big investments. Yeah, Mark is correct. Mark, I agree with you. Trading is not investing. So that, and then the short term, it may be that if they get investment grade credit rating. Alexandra was in the chat. I don't know if she's still there. Alexandra said in a Twitter Spaces I think we were in, she says she thinks there's a strong chance that the S&P will give Tesla an investment grade credit rating in August. And when that happens, that frees up some pension funds and other funds to buy Tesla stock that couldn't buy it before. That will create a demand side pressure for Tesla stock. She also mentioned that something like 90% of ETFs do not own Tesla stock, which is odd, because Tesla is a component of the S&P 500. It's one of the largest components of the S&P 500. So it may be that some mutual funds, exchange traded funds decide we need to start buying Tesla to have in our portfolios, and that would also increase demand for the stock. To me, it doesn't affect fundamental value of the stock. Fundamental value of the stock is what profits are they making? What's the appropriate price earnings ratio? Any guesses to Texas floor plan? It's huge, especially it's about 3 or 4 floors. What is each floor designed for? So the top floor is battery cell production. The next floor down is, I believe the batteries are assembled. I believe there's more battery work done on the third floor. Second floor, the batteries are assembled into a pack, and the seats, part of the vehicle are put on top of the battery pack. Then that's dropped down to the first floor in between the front and rear castings. And I think Sandy Monroe did a video about this, how the manufacturing method works, that the battery cell production happens at the top floor. I think there's a little bit, I think they have to cure the batteries. I'm not sure that's the right term for it. The batteries have to age a little bit. Then they're put into the pack. The seats are put on top. It's dropped down to the next level, and it's assembled, combined with the front and rear castings, and basically the car gets assembled on the first floor. That's the floor plan. Now that's for the structural pack Model Y. The 2170 Model Y is a different approach because I don't believe that that's that's not structural pack. I don't think the seats are attached in the same way. So that's, I think, in a different part of the factory. I hope that answers that question. If the voting for splitting shares passes on August 4th, when will Tesla be traded at a new price? I don't know when the split would be effective. I think we'll find that out. I don't know. I don't think we find that out till after the meeting. Alexander's still in the chat. Thank you, Alexander, for participating. Thank you for your insights in the Twitter Spaces. There's a guy named Tesla Herbert on Twitter, and I don't know if it's every week or how often he does these Twitter Spaces, and he ends up with these great conversations. He's just really good at leading conversations. He brings in good people. We have good conversations. There's this guy, Robert Scoble, who's really good. Alexander's often in the chats. A guy named Christian I really enjoy in the chats. Ryan from Kilowatts shows up sometimes. Will Russia be able to buy Teslas due to sanctions? I don't think that's a problem. Yeah. Oh, Tesla. Alexander says 90% of the actively managed funds do not own Tesla stock. The trackers, the index funds have to own it because it's part of the index, but the actively managed funds do not. Rob says the battery step you were thinking of is called formation. Exactly, Rob. Thank you for fixing that for me. Willie Hayes says he heard the split is like, I just don't think the split, look, does the split affect the fundamental value of the company? No, it doesn't. It doesn't affect the fundamental value of the company. So I focus on fundamentals. I don't focus on a lot of these short-term things that affect short-term stock price movements that don't really matter. So, all right, for more than an hour, I'm down to 20% battery life on my phone, and I don't have an easy way to plug it in without putting it in the inductive charger. Thank you, Laurie Apple, for your support. Very, very much appreciated. So, so on that note, I'm going to wrap up. Again, please check out the t-shirts at elonbits.com. Please become a YouTube channel member. Support this channel on the Locals platform or on Patreon. Locals platform in particular. On all three platforms, you get early access to a lot of my videos. And on the Locals platform, I've been holding off, but I'll probably get back into it. I do some political videos. So if you want to hear my political views, the Locals platform is a great place to see them. Please, you can follow it for free, or you can support me by becoming a supporter on that platform. I'll have to look at Meet Kevin's video. I haven't seen it yet. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to cut out now. You all have a great weekend, and I'm about to go on an adventure. So no video, no live stream tomorrow, probably. But I should be pumping out more videos soon. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and thanks, everyone, for your support. Thank you to the moderators, Mark Plott in particular, for helping out with the chat.